A few weeks ago, I compared the Saramonic Ultra to the Rode Wireless Pro and the DJI Mic 2 system. And surprisingly, in many of the tests that I did for all of the different microphones, the Saramonic was actually better. But what happens if you want something a little bit more professional? This is the Saramonic K9. I love the fact that this entire kit comes in its own hard case, and it also comes with a lot of accessories. This is an external antenna size chart, and you need this because depending on the frequency you choose, if you want the absolute best range, look at how many antennas this kit comes with. The set comes with 2 transmitters, 1 slightly larger receiver, and then when you pull up this first layer of foam here, you can see we've got an entirely different level with many more accessories. Now, these transmitters obviously are wireless, but they also have the ability to record internally. So just in case you have some sort of signal dropout, you're always going to have that safety channel. But unlike cheaper microphones that can do this, that have internal memory, these do it with micro SD cards. And I love the fact that they are included in the box. You can see here, it comes with 2 32 gigabyte micro SD cards. We've got a USB-C cable. We've got a 1/8 headphone jack on both sides here. One side is locking, that's going to lock down into the receiver itself, and the other side is going to plug directly into your camera of choice. We've got 2 locking 1/8 headphone jacks into XLR cables in case you want to go into a more professional camera or directly into an audio recorder. We've got a transmitter hot shoe adapter, which is going to allow you to mount the transmitter onto most cameras. We have multi-packs of colored silicone, which you can attach to both the transmitters and the receiver. This is going to be great for large video shoots where you're miking multiple people or you have multiple receivers running at the exact same time. This is going to allow you to easily figure out which transmitters and receivers go where, simply based on color. In this purple case here, we have 2 lavalier microphones. We've got a locking port on one end, and on the other, the smallest lav that I have ever used. I am very excited to hear the sound quality out of this thing. We also have lav clips in here as well, and we have normal wind screens as well as wind muffs when you're outside in heavy wind. And I have to say, these are the smallest wind muff dead cats I have ever seen. So I am loving how small this system is. I've put antennas on everything, and before you put the batteries in, you need to install the included micro SD card right here. One other thing I just noticed is that there is a second LCD screen on the top of the receiver. And the main LCD screen, as you can see here, will turn itself off, but the one on the top, it stays on all the time. This is for professional sound recorders who use multiple receivers, and they usually have a bag with a separate sound recorder on their hip. This is going to allow you to see all of your most important stats without actually having to pull the receiver out. You can see the battery level of both of your transmitters, the signal strength, as well as the audio levels. Now, each time you show up to a new filming location, you need to scan the environment to find a clean channel to broadcast on. And once all of these are synced up like they are now, this process is very easy. On the receiver, we're gonna go into the menu, we're gonna click on wireless frequency and frequency, we're gonna click OK, and then up to auto scan here. I'll turn both of these back on. You can see right now, it's scanning all of the available frequencies. And if the lines are taller, that means that we're getting a better signal. So as you can see, we're getting better as we move up the frequency band. It's then going to recommend 2 different channels to me. And if I click OK, confirm, it's going to send those signals over to each of the different transmitters automatically. Now the channels it's chosen are 584 and 596. We can then grab our antenna chart here and we'll see that the frequency 550 to 608 is the tallest possible antenna, which happens to be what I chose. A couple of other wild features that this system has. Each one of these units has a USB-C port built in. This is going to allow you to update the units. It's also going to allow you to power the units. I know most of the time I'm filming very long videos. I'm actually indoors and I have AC power, but I'm still forced to use batteries with most wireless mic systems. This system allows me to power these units with USB-C if I want to, and I believe you can also charge rechargeable batteries inside if you choose to use those as well. On the other side of the transmitter, you'll notice a headphone port. So if you want to monitor audio out of the transmitters, you can. And you might be wondering, well, why would I want to do that? Wouldn't I want to monitor audio out of the receiver? Most of the time, yes. But remember, these have internal recording as well. So if you don't want to use this as a wireless system and you just want to use this as a recording device, you can. And you can plug headphones directly into it to monitor audio to make sure that everything is working properly. I really like the design of the clips that come with these lavs. They have little cable protectors so you can snap it in like that. And then they have these spinning grips. And you can push it right into place. This is going to allow you to clip this to the edge of a shirt or inside a button shirt. And the microphone's going to reach around, but it's going to keep the cable very nice and clean. Now, the only issue that I have with this clip is that it only allows you to attach one microphone at a time. I have just made it a habit to double mic my talent on every shoot just because if something can go wrong with audio, it will go wrong. So as far as I can tell with this clip system, it's going to require you to use 2 different clips for 2 different microphones. Whereas with my high-end Sennheiser MKE2 microphone system, I can attach 2 lavs to a single clip. I use that all the time. Speaking of Sennheiser's lav mic, let's do an audio test right now between Saramonic's new lav, the Sennheiser MKE2, my current favorite, as well as what I believe is the best sounding all-in-one microphone system, the Rode Wireless Pro. Let's compare each one of these. This is an audio test between 3 different microphones. Which one do you think sounds the best? This is an audio test between 3 different microphones. Which one do you think sounds the best? This is an audio test between 3 different microphones. Which one do you think sounds the best? All right, I just listened to that test on both my studio monitors and headphones. Both the Saramonic and the Sennheiser microphone are very neutral microphones. On my desktop speakers, they sound almost identical. On headphones, I think I prefer the sound of Saramonic slightly to the Sennheiser. Now, the Rode microphone has exaggerated lows and highs, which I personally like. I think the sound out of that microphone sounds like an effect has already been added, which to me personally is a good thing, but I know a lot of professionals would prefer a flatter response and then they can do whatever they want in post afterwards. Now, when Saramonic sent me this entire system, one of the things they specifically asked me to do was to dunk the lavalier in liquids. And they said this thing is waterproof. It can handle more than water. Dunk it in whatever you want. And they actually just sent me an internal video of somebody on their team dunking this in water, coffee, tea, and then yanking on the cable itself to show how strong it is. But I love this lavalier so much. I actually want to use this thing. I have no doubt it would survive these stress tests, but I would prefer not to do that to my lavalier. So enjoy the footage of them stress testing the mic, but I'm gonna keep mine nice and new. I've downloaded the Saramonic System app on my iPhone here, and I'm just gonna hit the plus button to add the device, and everything immediately pops right up. I didn't have to do any searching or syncing, it just finds everything automatically. And I'll click all 3 and click Setup. Once we have everything connected, we can see each one of the devices listed here. And the first thing that you'll probably notice is that we have time code running on both of the transmitters. And you'll notice that the time is not perfectly synced between both transmitters. All you have to do is click Sync All. This next screen comes up. You're gonna wanna choose whatever frame rate you're using. In my case, it would be 23.98, and sync. And now you can see that time code is perfectly synced between these 2 transmitters. Now, if I click on one of these transmitters, it's going to let me change all of my settings wirelessly. It will actually show me the levels as the talent is talking, so you can monitor it wirelessly from your phone if you want to. You can put the device to sleep, you can mute the device, and in the bottom right down here, you will see a record button, and this is where we can talk a little bit more in depth about this internal recording feature. If I press this, it's gonna say, are you sure you wanna start recording? And I'll click confirm. And if I do that, Because I'm in the United States, it's going to stop sending the signal wirelessly over to the receiver, and it's only going to record 32-bit float internally on the included micro SD card. If you're in any other country in the world, you can do both of these simultaneously. But the reason why you can't in the United States is because someone has a patent that blocks them from doing this. Now, I've had the opportunity to talk to multiple microphone manufacturers, and I've actually spoken to many of them about this lawsuit and this patent. Each one of them has their own inside scoop and their own opinions, but the bottom line is that if you use these microphones in the US and it knows where you are based on the application on your cell phone, then that feature is going to be an either or type thing, either record internally or send the signal wirelessly. However, if you buy this in the United States and you travel outside the United States, the second you open the app on your phone and it sees that you're no longer in the United States, the feature will become available to you. I will leave it at that. Now, in my last wireless microphone video, I did a range test, and the Saramonic Ultra was the clear winner. It destroyed the competition. So let's put the current king up against the brand new K9. I went outside with the Saramonic Ultra attached to the front of my shirt, and to make things fair, I attached the K9 to the front of my belt loop so that both of the transmitters were on my front. Now, because wireless audio is anything but consistent, I didn't get nearly as good of results out of the Saramonic Ultra in this test than I did in my previous test. And interestingly, both the Saramonic Ultra and the new K9 started to drop out at the exact same distance when I was faced away from the camera. Because I have each transmitter on. Now, when I was facing the camera and both transmitters had direct line of sight to their receivers, the range was much longer, but once again, almost identical. But we're gonna have to go back to the computer to find out for sure. So what are my final thoughts on the Saramonic K9? It's an amazing audio system built for professionals, which is honestly not me. A lot of this stuff is way over my head. I know many of you watching love the ability to go into the menu and fine tune everything, choose the frequency and the correct antenna. But for me personally, that adds a lot of time, complexity, and the ability to make a mistake. I love the simplicity of these new all-in-one 2.4 gigahertz mic systems like the Saramonic Ultra. And so for me personally, I think I'm gonna stick with the cheaper system. But if you're a professional audio recorder, and especially if you're outside the US and you can use the wireless transmission and the internal recording at the exact same time, this system is fantastic. And for me personally, who is not an audio professional, I can tell you my favorite part of this entire setup is these lavalier mics. I have never seen a lavalier this small before that can take this much punishment and sounds this good. I don't know how much this system cost, and I don't even know if they're gonna be selling this lavalier from day one. If it's available when this video comes out, I'll put it in the link below. But I do know I spent $400 for each one of my Sennheiser lav mics, and I actually prefer the size and the sound out of this thing. So I think this is my new favorite lav. Well guys, thank you for watching. If you wanna take your photography and videography to the next level, check out our full tutorials at fstoppers.com/store. And if you're a photographer, head over to fstoppers.com/contest to check out our monthly contest where we're giving away thousands of dollars in prizes, and it's totally free to enter.